And this is Miss OD here. So I'm going to just go through how to use Geogebra to help you find an equation for some data that you will gather by doing the pass the ball activity. So the first thing is to open Geogebra, and your screen should look something like this. What you might want to do is first of all get the spreadsheet view. So go up to view. Oh, sorry, I'm on the not on now in Geogebra. Go up to view and choose spreadsheet. So at the side here then you should have something that looks like a spreadsheet. Then here you will just enter your data. I'm going to just copy some data that I had before. I'm going to just put some headings there and so on. Now what you might want to do is, because we want to plot these points, so we want to change our window. Now we can do this. As soon as you want to do something to the graph, make sure you click in the graphics window. If I use this tool here, this is the movement tool. So I can just drag my axes. Now if I look at my data here, my x values are all greater than 0 and so are my y. So I don't need any of this negative stuff. I can't see the points, but that's because I haven't plotted them yet. So the next thing I should do is plot them. So just like you would in Excel, highlight your points, and then we just need to tell it to plot. So now it's in the spreadsheet window. So I go to the third button here, create list, and I want create list of points. Choose that, just go create. And you can see the points show up here, but they're not showing here. This is because if I look at my axes, it's not showing the right numbers. If I look here, my y values, they're all in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So I need to change the scale. So if I click in the graphics window again, choose my movement tool, and then, so normally it's across, go to the axes, so it changes, and just drag it down. And just keep dragging it till it's showing numbers that fits your data. Okay. So if I want some 60s, 80s, that probably is good. Now here I see I still don't see them, but if I look again at my x values, the numbers are all bigger than 10. So here I need to also change my my x-axis. So I need to drag it across, and now I can start seeing my points. Maybe I need to just see a little bit more of the y's. So there are my points. So now at least I can see them. Okay, good. If I go back to the arrow is just then like the selection tool. I can delete that line that just automatically gets generated. The next thing we want to do is we want to create some sliders. So this second button here from the right is a slider button. So click on the button. If you just click on it and click somewhere out of the way of your screen, not near the points, and then you should get a screen up like this. So we want to call our two sliders M and B. So just here, just rename that M. You may want to change these values. So here, for our minimum, I don't think the negatives will be so much of a problem, but it might depend on your data, because if you're going to have a negative gradient, I can see mine's going to have a positive gradient here. This M is going to represent the gradient of the line. So I'm not going to have a negative gradient, so I could probably even change that to 0. But my maximum might be a lot bigger. If I look here, it might be bigger than 5. So I might just even change that to 50. You can change it to whatever you like. So if I go apply, and then I want another slider, just click near it. This one I want to call B, because it's coming from y equals mx plus b. Now I don't really know what my b is, so I might just change these to bigger numbers just in case. I might change them maybe to minus 50 and 50. But again, it's going to depend on your data. We choose apply. So we can see there are our two sliders on the screen. The next thing we do, in our input bar, which is down the bottom here, we want to put in the general equation y equals mx plus b. Because this m and the b is going to correspond to the m and the b that we use for the sliders. So we can see as soon as I do that, up here it says y equals x plus 1. That's because m at the moment is 1, so that's the gradient as we know, and b is 1, which we know is that. And so obviously that is nowhere near our points. What we're trying to do is get a line that gets pretty close to our points. So I obviously need to change my sliders. To start with, I'm going to say I might move this line up because it's too far below the points. So I'm going to change this. Let's just see what happens. I mean, the good thing about the sliders, you can see it as we go. Let's change it. Now, you don't have to change it right close to the points because remember, you also need to change the gradient. I'm going to change it to something down here. And now I'm going to change the slope because obviously these points here, they're making a steeper line than this line is. So we want that gradient to be steeper. And we see here, now we're getting something that's closer. So you need to then just play with the sliders and find the best line that you think fits the points. Remember, it's probably not going to fit the points exactly. The line won't pass through every single point, but you want it to be as close as possible. So I might even just move mine up a little bit again. You might have to play with both sliders, keep changing to get the best line that you think fits. Okay, so that's then an equation that you've found using sliders. The next thing you can do is you can get the computer to find an equation for you. Now to do this, you need to highlight your points again over in the spreadsheet view. And again, we get some different buttons up here. This time we go to the second one that says one variable analysis. Click on that little arrow. And now we choose the second option, two variable regression. Choose that. Just choose analyze. Your points will just come up. So now you see your points have been plotted again in another window. Down here it says regression model. We just want a linear one for the moment. So we choose linear. And there it has then come up with a line for us. And so we can see the computers come up with an equation 3.2442x, and I had mine as 3.3, so that wasn't a bad estimate. And then the y-intercept, it's come up with 26, and I had mine at 27. So what I got with my sliders actually was reasonably good for just looking at it by eye. Now the other thing you can do with this is you can actually find values. So if I wanted to know, well, what happens when x is, let's say 10, I can substitute 10 in there, press enter, and it gives the y value. So it automatically does the substitution. Then you can use this equation and you can type it in, or you can use copy and paste. There's various ways that you can get this graph to be on the axis here. Okay, and hopefully that was of some help for you in terms of finding the equation of a line when you have some real life data. Good luck. Bye.